All right, Danny is a veteran here. Danny is a CDC director from Somerville. Give him a round of applause while I find the right bio. Thank you so much for coming to tell a story. Sure, come on up. I'll hand the mic over as soon as come stand by me. You can, I know, it's really, you can get used to it, right? So Danny LeBlanc is a lifelong Massachusetts resident who has worked in community organizing, community development, and nonprofit management over the last 42 years. Serving as Chief Executive Officer of Somerville Community Corporation since 2001. Woo! He lived in Somerville for 42 years before moving to Gardner, Mass. In 2018, and he has 3 daughters and 4 grandchildren. Tonight, Danny is going to tell a story about organizing and the changes over all of those years in the communities that he works in Somerville, Massachusetts. Thank you, Danny.
Thanks,
Give it up
Karen.
to Danny.
2 things by way of intro. Don't ever have an offhand email exchange with Karen Kelleher because she might ask you to tell a story. And if it isn't obvious already, I think I'm holding up the old white guy cohort here, but I'll give it my best. And I'm really going to tell a story about my earliest organizing experience. So I'm going to take you back to Somerville in 1978 when I was offered a job as a community organizer. Who's clapping for Somerville in 1978? Oh my God. I was offered a job as a community organizer. Now, I'd been a student activist at UMass Amherst, and I'd been involved in some early anti-nuclear power stuff. But quite honestly, I'd never heard of Saul Alinsky. Some of you might have, I hadn't. And much less the Somerville United Neighborhood Sun, the organization that was offering me the job. But I was silk screening t-shirts for a living at the time, and they offered me a Vista salary, a whopping $4,000 a year. $20 a week travel stipend, that was the kicker, and I said, okay, I'll take the job. Now, for those of you who know and love Somerville today, this was not the Somerville you know and love. This was the Somerville of vacant, burned out buildings, the Somerville of a bar on every corner, legal or not, the Somerville that was, quite honestly, fairly well ruled by the Winter Hill Gang. They really did exist in those days. And the topic of the very first Boston Globe Spotlight series on political corruption. Very different city than we have today. But nevertheless, I went to work. A little inauspiciously, and it's a story for a different day, my first official day was February 6, 1978. Anybody remember what that day was? Yeah, the blizzard of 78. So I didn't go to work my first day. No school for a week, no travel for a week, no work for a week. You were forbidden to be on the roads. But I did officially start on February 13th, and I walked into the office in Magoon Square, Somerville, and met with my boss, Lou Finfer. And it's that Lou Finfer, for those of you who know Lou. And Lou kind of gave me some background and said, all right, read some of this stuff. Here's some information about Somerville, and around 4 o'clock, go out and start knocking on doors and don't come back till 8. In Davis Square, which is my assigned territory. So, doing what I'm told. So I head out, start knocking on doors, and, I find Larry Tittlemore and Betty King and Frank Antonelli and Ron and Doris Keefe. And they're all telling me the same thing. They're saying, our biggest problem is every drunken town ends up in the Store 24 parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I go back and I tell Lou, I said, this is what they're telling me. Who gives a shit? I want to solve world problems. I got into this for a different reason. What do I care? I might be one of those people in the parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. But Lou said, and Lou was teaching me the gospel according to Saul Alinsky. He said, that's what they care about. Go out and find a way to do something with it. So Lou said, first thing you do is get a planning meeting together in somebody's house. So Betty King agrees to host the planning meeting. 10 people show up. Lou said, have them all commit to turning out 2 people to the next neighborhood meeting. Find out what's going on. and have them name the people. So I did. They didn't turn out those people, but they actually did turn out people because they had committed to turn out people. Second lesson I learned. He said, find a room for the meeting with the owner of the store 24 that you're going to meet with. It's a little bit too small. So we found a room for 40 people, put 60 people in the room. As it turned out, the only door was the furthest away from the front of the room, so once the guy got in there, he couldn't get out. And then we couldn't have planned this, but this guy's name was Bob Gordon, the owner of the store 24, and he was so dumb and pompous that when they complained to him about the noise, he said, I love city life. They asked him where he lived. It was Sudbury. He said, well, my wife doesn't want to live in the city. He was the perfect foil. I don't have much time left, but let me tell you, the store 24, which is now Tedeschi's in Davis Square, is still not open past midnight because of the work we did in that era. And I was sold on community organizing because we had won something and it was meaningful to people. Karen introduced me. 20 years now, I've been the CEO of the Somerville Community Corporation, but I like to say everything I do today, I kind of learned in that first year of organizing at Somerville United Neighborhoods. Thank you.